Hello, hello, hello. My name is Nicholas Rivas, and I talk about politics and stuff. And today we're going to be talking about the UFC. So just recently, there's been a few cards that have been announced, and some cards that are coming up. There is the fight night that's going to be happening today. By the time I'm recording this, um, I haven't really been watching it or really caring. I like Diego Santos, but it's just think after the Jones fight, it doesn't really excite me, and I haven't really looked who else is on the card, which I know makes me a terrible uh, UFC fan, but it's my channel. Leave me alone. So yeah, I mean it's pretty exciting. I'm definitely wanting to see what will occur with these fights, but my main go to right now is just these big cards that are coming up. When you have Charles versus uh, um, Makachev, you have fucking Leon versus Kamaro, and then you have I don't know why my brain's blinking, but then you have what recently announced, which we all saw coming, Israel versus Alex Pereira. So I definitely think. I definitely think this is gonna be. There's some great cards coming up. There's no doubt about it. I'm definitely more excited for the Islam versus Charles card because I love Charles. He's one of my favorite fighters right now. I think Dustin versus Chandler is also in the works. Um, but this is my predictions basically. I think Charles is going to win, and I'm excited. I think that's just going to be a great card. I also think Leon is going to win against his fight with Kamaro, and people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but I can't see Kamaro having that hunger anymore. I could be wrong. That's gonna be probably the dumbest statement of the century, but I truly believe that Kamaro is going to lose to Leon because he doesn't have the greatest defense, and Leon can get some good hits. Will he? I think it's very low. I think it is very low. Um, I think the likelihood of Kamaro is higher, but something's in me saying that Leon's gonna win, and I think we're in a new wave of champs right now. I think I can see a world where Israel loses. He's lost to Prayer twice. I know it's gonna be a different game, but also Prayer looks like a scary monster. I want to say this is my prediction. I think Charles v Islam. Charles will win, not because I'm just this big Charles fan, but I think I think Islam is being propped up too fast. Khabib was a different beast, and I think everyone keeps putting him to like a Khabib, and they're not the same fighter, and I think UFC is gonna regret throwing him to the wolves so fast because he hasn't fought ranked top people. I mean, what Bobby Green wasn't ranked, right? Dan Hooker, was he ranked? I can't even remember. But I want to see him fight like a Beneil Darouche. Like, where was that fight? Like, come on, that still needed to happen for him to prove some sort of worth. I'm not saying Islam would have lost. I can't see a world where he would have won decisively. You know what I mean? Like, definitively. I mean. So I don't know. I don't know what the thought process is with. I know they think it's going to be Khabib versus Tony that we've never gotten, but I can't see it. I can't see it. I'm curious to how it'll go, but I think Charles is going to win. I think Israel might lose. There's a pretty good chance. I want to say Israel's going to lose. I feel like that's the conciseness, but I'm gonna just say. You know what? Israel's gonna win. I think he's a different fighter than from what he was back then. I think he's. I know Alex is. I mean, he's also a wrestler. No one talks about that. But I think Israel is hungry for a fight. No one's giving him that, and I think this is gonna be a fight of the ages. Leon versus Kamar. I truly think Leon could win. It sounds so stupid to people. Like, what are you talking about? I don't think Leon has proven himself to be the most dangerous fighter, but he's hungry. The guy has been shitted on by the UFC. I just can't see him. I can't see him not putting up a good fight, you know. And I think Kamaru is a beast of his own. But I can't see it. I can't see it. I know I'm giving these kind of weird answers, but I can't see Leon not put up a good fight at the very least. I think people are way passing him too much. I mean, he's like on a he's on a 9 win streak. Like, how are we not acknowledging that this guy is hungry? He lost and he hasn't lost since then, and he's fighting. Whereas like people like Colby, who I think are great fighters, are really undermining themselves by not really furthering their career and trying, fights and putting on the belt. Like Kamar he's taking the fights. Kamar is a damn champ for a reason. But I think people like Colby, who have the skills, really just are there for the money and the title. Where Leon's like, or just the title. Not that Leon wants to be champ. Leon wants champ no matter what. And I think he could give Kamara his biggest worry. I'm not saying everyone else didn't want to be champ. I just don't think they have that hunger like Leon, especially being sidelined so much, being such a fighter who's quote unquote boring. People aren't gonna give you that time of day, which is sad. So I don't know. I'm very curious. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious on how this is gonna go. I can see some champions losing their titles though, and I don't know. I think those are been the big ones that have been announced too. I think when I look through all the fights in the schedule, those are the only ones I can think of that are really sparking me with interest. You have Vera versus Cruz, who, I can see Vera winning Cruz. I wish Cruz would fight Aldo. That would be a damn legendary fight. You got Camaro versus Leon, Paulo versus Luke, Jose versus Marab Davalishvili. I think Jose could lose. He's a different fighter right now, but he's older. He's older. Paulo Costa is gonna destroy Luke Rockhold. As much as I hate Paulo, because I think what he did to Marvin was stupid. And how he complained about Israel was stupid. Kamaru could lose. I think Kamaru could lose. Saralgam versus Tai Tuivasa. That's gonna be a good fight. Whitaker versus Marvin Tor. That's gonna be a good ass fight. I think that's the one that's in Paris. That's a good ass fight. I would fly to Paris just to see that fight. Then you have Kamsa versus Nate. I don't care about that. I think what the UFC's doing to Nate is stupid. I mean, Nate's a G, so he's gonna take any fight, but give him Connor, man. Give him that money fight before he leaves. But they don't care about him. They want to see him lose. I love Kamsat, but if he loses to Nate, this is a lose-lose situation. Nate loses, everyone goes, okay. And Kamsat wins, everyone goes... Or sorry, Kamsat loses, everyone goes, well, that just ruined the Kamsat train. I don't think it would lower his stock that much, but it's gonna fuck his stock up. Sanhagen versus Song Yudong. Going to be a great fight. I love Corey Sanhagen. I think he's a great fighter, and he's been thrown to the wolves, but he's always proven himself. Song Yudong, though, that's a scary guy. I think Song Yudong might lose. Giga Chikset versus Sadiq Yusuf. That's gonna be a good fight too. UFC 280. You have Charles versus Islam versus Bella, and then Bella Muhammad versus Sean Brady. Benel Dariush, Mitsu Gamrot. I mean, just some great fights, man. That's so good. And then now with UFC 281, you have Alex versus Israel. These are some great cards. I mean, there's no doubt about it. These are going to be some like big cards. They're gonna these are gonna be some good cards. Not to say we didn't have any bad cards this year, but I think they could have been better. You know. But I like these cards. I've liked every fight so far. I've really digged everything everybody was doing. My predictions of the champs though is I think Israel's gonna win. I think Kamaru's gonna lose. I know it sounds stupid. People would bet the other way, but something about it is just telling me that the chances of Israel losing, I just can't see it, guys. I can't see it. And I know saying Kamaru's gonna lose is like saying that the sun isn't gonna rise. Like, it's just something people wouldn't bet on. But I don't know. I don't know, guys. I think Leon can do it. I'm not rooting for Leon either, because I think he's kind of a boring fighter, and I would honestly want to see him fight Jorge. Which if he loses to Camaro, I think that's a possibility. And I think Jorge's gonna fight someone soon. I think he's gonna fight Gilbert. I think he's gonna fight Gilbert Burns, and that's a terrible matchup for. I want to see Gilbert versus Colby, and I want to see Leon versus Jorge. Settle that beef, and I think that's a fair fight because both those guys, I feel like they can match each other pretty well. Whereas Colby, I could see him losing to Gilbert, and I think that would be hilarious. Even though Colby is a great fighter, and I think he is probably the second best welterweight. Matchups make the fights, right? And I think there's a world where where Colby could beat Gilbert, but it's gonna be a freaking challenge, and it's gonna be a good test for him. We'll see how this card goes today. Again, I'm not that big of a Thiago Santos. I think after his fight with Jones, it just really put like a cloud over him. Like I just feel like it's not the same. I mean, most fights after Jones, like nobody fights Jones and walks out normal. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I definitely think it's gonna be a decent fight night. You have Vicente Luque, Jeff Neal, Zach Pruga, Mohammed Usman. Is that Usman's brother? Because I remember Usman has a brother that was in the league, like Bellator or something, right? Am I going crazy? It can't be, right? That's not him. That would have been bigger. Oh, it is his brother. Wow. Crazy. I'm curious on that. I don't know if does he have. Maybe Kamar has multiple brothers, or this has to be the same brother. But I remember hearing about. I remember hearing about a brother who was like in a controversial fight where everyone was like, "Oh, let's see how he goes," and I think he had like a horrible stoppage. Bellator, maybe. I wouldn't say Pride, but God, there was something. I can't remember. I'm excited for that. Then I want to see him. I want to see him fight. Yeah, I think that'll be a good fight. I can see that being a good fight. I think that's kind of all I'll talk about. I didn't really have much of a topic. I just like talking UFC and just ranting about these things that I tell my partner every day. Like, oh, like, dude, look at the Kamaros and she's like, yeah, baby. So I think this is a pretty fun way just for me to vent and not really have too much of a topic per se. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I think I can just end it here because I've just been rambling too much. But every other day, new video, and every Sunday, videos about UFC. So yabba dabba doo.